Imagine waking up tomorrow in a world where food no longer exists. No bread, no rice, no vegetables, no meat, no shops, no farms, no delivery apps. Your stomach is empty. Your body is weak. And the only question in your mind is simple but terrifying. What will you eat to stay alive? Now imagine this is not for one day, not for 1 week, but for your entire life. This was the reality for ancient humans. Hunger was not an emergency. It was normal, and when there was no food, they didn't give up. They ate things that today would make most of us feel sick just hearing about them. Insects crawling on the ground, bitter roots hidden deep in the soil, tree bark scraped from trunks, raw animal organs, even blood. These were not strange choices. They were the difference between life and death. The shocking truth is that the human species did not survive because food was always available. Humans survived because they were willing to eat whatever the earth offered, no matter how disgusting, dangerous, or painful it was. And once you understand this, you will never look at food the same way again. For ancient humans, hunger was not an emergency situation, it was a regular part of life. Unlike today, where missing a meal feels uncomfortable, in prehistoric times, missing meals was expected. Days, sometimes weeks, passed without successful hunts. Weather could destroy food sources overnight. A long winter or drought could wipe out animals and plants completely. Ancient humans lived with empty stomachs more often than full ones. Their bodies adapted to this reality. Hunger sharpened their senses, slowed their movements, and forced them to think creatively. When food disappeared, panic was useless. Survival depended on knowing where to look next. Children learned early that crying did not bring food. Elders passed down knowledge, not of recipes, but of survival tricks, what could be eaten in desperation, and what would kill you faster than starvation. Hunger shaped human intelligence. It forced early humans to explore, experiment, and take risks. Many died making mistakes, but those who survived passed on their knowledge. Over time, humans became the ultimate survivors, not because the world was kind, but because it was cruel. Hunger was the teacher, and survival was the lesson. When nothing grew above the surface, ancient humans looked below it. Roots and tubers became one of the most reliable survival foods in history. Using sharp stones and digging sticks, humans searched the soil for edible plants hidden deep underground. Wild yams, tubers, and starchy roots provided energy when animals were gone. But this food came with danger. Many roots were poisonous. Eating the wrong one meant slow, painful death. Through trial and error, humans learned how to recognize safe roots by shape, smell, and location. Some roots were toxic when raw, so humans learned to soak them in water, roast them in fire, or dry them under the sun to remove poison. This knowledge was priceless. Underground food saved entire tribes during famines. While the land above looked dead, life still existed below. These roots were not tasty, but they filled the stomach and kept the body moving. In Maniwales, digging for food was humanity's first form of agriculture. The ground itself became a hidden pantry, waiting for those desperate enough to search it. When animals disappeared and plants failed, insects were always there. Grasshoppers, ants, beetles, termites, and larvae became essential survival food. Insects were easy to catch, required no weapons, and existed in huge numbers. Ancient humans quickly realized that insects were rich in protein and fat, exactly what the starving body needed. While modern humans feel disgust, hunger erased such emotions. Survival rewired the brain. Insects were eaten raw, roasted in fire, or ground into paste. Termite mounds were broken open, and swarms became instant meals. Ant eggs were collected like grains. Children were often the best insect hunters because of their speed and sharp eyes. Insects were not last resort food. They were reliable nutrition. Even today, many cultures still eat insects, proving that this ancient habit never truly disappeared. Insects helped humans survive long migrations and harsh climates. They were silent, crawling proof that food exists, even when it seems like nothing is left. When the land offered nothing edible, humans turned to trees. Not the wood, but the soft inner bark known as the cambium layer. This pot contained carbohydrates that could slow starvation. Bark was dried, crushed, and sometimes mixed with water to create a rough paste or primitive bread. Leaves, grasses, moss, and wild plants were also consumed, though many provided little energy. Eating plants was often about filling the stomach rather than nourishing the body. Some leaves caused sickness, others caused weakness. Humans learned which plants could be eaten safely and which were dangerous. This knowledge became tribal memory. Trees, usually symbols of shelter, became emergency food sources. It was a painful way to survive, but it worked. Bark kept humans alive when nothing else could. The forest was not just home, it was food, medicine, and hope. When an animal was killed, nothing was wasted. Meat was obvious food, but organs were even more important. Liver, heart, brain, and kidneys were eaten immediately, often raw, because they contained vital nutrients. Blood was collected and drunk for energy and minerals. Bone marrow was cracked open with stones and eaten for fat. Skin was boiled for gelatin. Even hooves and cartilage were used. Ancient humans understood that survival meant respect for the kill. One animal could mean life for many days. Wasting food was unthinkable. This complete use of animals allowed humans to survive extreme environments, like ice ages. What modern people consider extreme or disgusting was simply intelligent survival behavior. Sometimes humans did not hunt, they scavenged. After predators finished eating, humans approached carefully, risking their lives to take leftovers. Rotting meat, partially eaten carcasses, and old bones were collected. Fermented meat, though foul-smelling, was sometimes safer than fresh meat, 'cause bacteria broke it down. Hunger destroyed fear. Starvation forced humans to make brutal choices. Eating spoiled food could kill, but not eating guaranteed death. These moments show the darkest side of survival. Yet venere, humans adapted. They learned to recognize safe decay and dangerous rot. Scavenging was not weakness, it was intelligence under pressure. Ancient humans survived, not because food was easy, but because they were adaptable. They ate insects, roots, bark, blood, and bones. They endured hunger, fear, and pain. Modern humans live surrounded by abundance, yet forget how fragile survival truly is. This story is not just about food, it is about resilience. Humans are still here because they refused to surrender. When there was no food, they found a way, and that instinct still lives inside us today. Ancient humans did not survive because the world was generous to them. They survived because they refused to surrender, even when hunger stripped away comfort, dignity, and fear. When there was no food, they did not wait for rescue. They dug into the earth with bleeding hands. They swallowed bitterness, chewed bark, chased insects, drank blood, and cracked bones for marrow. Every painful choice they made was driven by one simple truth: living one more day mattered more than feeling comfortable. Hunger did not make them weak, it made them resourceful. And because of that resourcefulness, you and I exist today. In our modern world, food surrounds us. We waste it, complain about it, and forget how precious it truly is. But deep inside us, the same survival instinct still lives, the instinct that once allowed humans to survive ice ages, famine, and extinction itself. This story is not meant to shock you. It is meant to remind you of who we really are. We are not fragile creatures made comfortable by technology. We are survivors shaped by hunger, struggle, and relentless adaptation. So the next time you eat, remember this: every meal is a privilege earned by thousands of years of human endurance. And if this story changed the way you see food, survival, or humanity itself, then you already understand why these stories matter. If you want more deep, untold survival histories, like the stories that reveal the hidden strength of humans, subscribe to this channel. Because the past still has lessons to teach us, and the most powerful ones were written when there was nothing to eat.